Good evening, everybody. A bit of a late one today, 10 o'clock or 5 past. Sorry about my lateness. I had to dodge a bottle at work, so forgive me. But I'll agree that maybe my Steam panel here with Jez and Kenny Ken will have been well worth the wait. So, Ken, how are you today, sir? You okay?
I'm all good. I'm all good. It's been a very hectic few days. That there are a lot of Arsenal podcasts, and they're all virtually saying the same things. And there's been counter podcasts as well, where people have had different views. But you know, at the moment, there's a lot of stress amongst Arsenal fans. They're worrying that the season just peter out after the last three matches. I don't think there's much confidence amongst Arsenal fans that we're going to be able to turn our bad form around. We're really, really not used to losing three games in a row. But when it's happened, the Palace game's massive now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Mm.
And about you, Jez, sir? How are you?
I'm a good mate, all good. Yeah, I've been out most of the day actually. Today, unusual for me, and I have to be honest, I didn't wrap up warm enough, and I was bloody frozen all day. But that's my fault and stupidity. But yeah, I concur with Kenny. I've done quite a few shows this week, and it just shows the shock and disbelief in, and also the stupidity of certain fans that they don't see a problem. We're deluded because we're still in a phase of moving on. I mean, yah.
Well, you see George Graham and Arthur Wenger. What do you think? Moving on from Arteta ain't going to be hard, is it?
Not really.
Gets out the door, like blimey.
But it's been an interesting few days debating different things, and we'll have a chat about it. And it is what it is. And
hello, Taib.
Thanks for inviting me on, man.
Yeah, sure. It's been a while since I've had you both, and obviously, just a quick note, by the way, because Jez and Kenny Ken were one of the two first big panelists I had on my show. We just wanted to look back on it because now that I've hit 100 subscribers plus, I did send a little message out to both of them, but I'll thank them both in person. But thank you both for your help, and it's a pleasure to have you back. Now, let's get onto the subject of why we are here. I've heard a lot of things over the last couple of weeks from Chelsea, Arsenal, some other groups of fans as well, certain Liverpool fans, that things like the Carabao Cup don't matter, the FA Cup don't matter, you should focus on bigger prizes and bigger trophies. These things aren't what they used to be now because there's no money in it. All that kind of jazz. And to be honest, I'm getting to the point now where I'm getting very, 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 very sick of hearing that kind of thing. Big up, Ravi. How you doing, mate? Big up to yourself. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Now, when you need expert opinions, you ask two expert fans. And I think I'll start with Jez here because I was on a watch along with Jez the other day, and I was watching the performance of Arsenal in the FA Cup. And I can honestly tell you, if there's one person that shares my passion for the FA Cup, it's definitely Jezza. Because obviously, the FA Cup should be everything to English fans. It really should. And it's one of those cups. It's the big up, Drew. Big up yourself. Of course, two legends on the panel. We don't do it any other way. So I'm very grateful those two gents have come back. But yeah, the FA Cup. I'm coming, Wolf. Well, I hope you're coming on the show and not in your pants, mate. From the way from the way you've just written that. I'm coming, whoa! Just making sure. But yeah, I'll ask Fuzzy then momentarily when he joins us. Jez, as an old school fan and a proper Arsenal fan, what does the FA Cup mean to you?
Mate, it means everything. Absolutely everything. As kids, Kenny, you're the same. Wolf, you're the same, man. We grew up with it. It was the whole experience. Not just the day of the FA Cup. It was the build up to every game that we were going to go and watch or watch on the telly. And I said the other day, even now, even if Arsenal aren't in it, if they're not at that final, it still means everything to me because it's something that I feel in my heart. It's passion. Of course, I want Arsenal to win it, and of course, I want Arsenal to go on and bloody win it. But I can never be one of these people that doesn't actually. Let me start again. I can never accept not showing the respect to the FA Cup. It's the oldest football trophy in world football. It means everything to every player that ever gets a chance to play in it. Come on, you know. And yes, on the weekend when we were playing Liverpool, yeah, I was doing a watch along on. I think it was Tony Claude's, wasn't it? Tony Claude's channel, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. On Sunday with myself. Yep.
And the Yeti, and I got very upset at the time, you know, because I don't normally do a watch along, right? I don't, because I'm not an Arsenal game, because I get just too engrossed in the game. Yeah, and it's not fair on the person I'm doing a watch along with. That day, I thought there's 3 other people in there. I can watch it. I can join in as and when. But I did show my passion, and maybe I showed my passion a little bit too much. But that is me.
I think you were fine, mate. I think you were bang on, just like Yeti said.
That's what it was meant. That's what it means to me. And I, you know, it's seriously. Even today, I was chatting to somebody, and they said, "Oh, you know, you must be gutted about Arsenal." I said, "Don't even talk about it. I don't even want to talk about it." I said, "I've had enough now. You know, we're out of it. It's done for another season, and we're out of every cup apart from the Champions League." And let me just say this, guys: we're not going to be in that for much longer. Really, seriously, anybody that sits there and thinks we're going to win the Champions League, you need to have you need a psychologist. Seriously, you've got a major problem. But it means everything to me, man. Everything. Has done all my life. Being a little kid, you know, watching it on the TV. I remember watching it in bloody black and white, you know, back as a little kid. And yeah, I mean, I'm still gutted, but there we go.
Fair enough. And Unks, do you want to give me your opinion on what you think the FA Cup means to you as an Arsenal fan?
The FA Cup is the biggest competition. The FA Cup is the biggest competition in world football for me. It's the oldest competition. And you speak to any foreign player when they're growing up, not so much the modern foreign players, but you talk about foreign players playing in the 90s and the 80s. They grew the only game live on TV in England, most of the 80s and 70s, was the FA Cup final. Every foreign player used to watch the FA Cup final wherever they were in the world. It was live in Africa, it was live in Asia, it was live in Australia, live in, not so much in the USA, but every country, the FA Cup. And people from around the world immerse themselves in that one day and the build-up and the cup. And if you look at the FA Cup, other countries have copied England in how they treat their domestic major cup competitions. Now you go to Italy, it's played in a neutral stadium. Both set of fans have the same allocation of tickets. The same thing in Germany, the same thing in France. So they've taken on board how we treat our FA Cup final. Another thing as well, I want to say a big thank you to people like Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, and every Chelsea manager. The reason why I want to thank them and shake their hands and say thank you is because they've taken the League Cup very seriously. They've taken the FA Cup seriously, and they've shown respect, more respect than England, than the managers, the so-called British managers, have shown to the competition, i.e., clubs who have no chance of winning the league, who have no chance of silverware. The best chance of silverware, they go and play weakened teams because the Premiership is the alpha and omega. And when these clubs get relegated, I just laugh and have no sympathy for them because they are bastard the club. But so much for foreign managers. Man City, you look at their record in the League Cup, it's as good as Liverpool's. Look at Liverpool's record in the League Cup. Look at Chelsea, their record in cup competitions in itself. Why are foreign managers taking that cup seriously? But the biggest problem as well with the FA Cup as well is that we've been lobotomized by it. A lot of people say it doesn't matter. FA Cup don't matter. League Cup don't matter. Like you had Lyle taking the mickey out of Man United fans because they only won the League Cup. Yet I know for a fact Lyle was not too far from me when we played Man City in 2018 in the League Cup final. Him and his merry crew were there getting tickets after begging for them. Don't even get me started with the FA Cup finals. I've seen them at as well. So why are you going on like, oh, it's all about the Champions League? Don't disrespect traditions of the game, because there's a lot of young people who need to be educated in a good way about these cup competitions. If you're a fan of Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, and you've seen your teams win the FA Cup recently, you should have no excuse for belittling that competition because your managers are taking it seriously. You've had good days out. Yeah. Arsenal won the FA Cup 14 times. No Arsenal fan should ever say the FA Cup don't matter. They should be furious at it, like I am, like Jez is, because of the fact that they're traditional cup. So pipe down, mate. You fans, if you really want to show that you know something about English football and you're big fans of your clubs, learn some good habits. I'll tell you one thing: taking the cup competition seriously is a good way to show that you know something. You're genuinely immersed in their game. Don't just come in our game because it's fashionable or it's nice to have a YouTube channel. If you're not going to take the tradition of our game seriously, just go and watch baseball. If you're going to say the FA Cup and League Cup don't matter.
No, facts, man. Facts. You know what it is in days, or like, just first off, got to big up everyone in the panel. Big up to Jez. Big up Kenny Ken. Big up Hot Fuzz. Big up Wolfang. Thanks for having me this evening. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. See, what I constantly say this, and I've said this before on other streams of the day. When you listen to sort of like Kenny Ken talk and everything, that there's not much you can doubt him with. You know, you can probably add on to it, but you can't doubt it because at the end of the day, right? Lyle, Robin Lyle, and his brother Laurie Lyle, I knew them before they had the channel, and they knew them before they had the channel, and it was constantly, even back then, constantly banging on about the FA Cup, about Arsenal's won the FA Cup the most, a lot of times and this and that, because at that time Liverpool weren't really doing that well as such. You know what I mean? Yeah, we had a little moments, but we weren't doing that well. So I know it's like, so for them to be like at the moment, like now, sort of like saying, well, FA Cup's this and FA Cup's that. I mean, you got some fun in you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. The FA Cup at the end of the day is the oldest competition in football history. In football history and everything that. It's the only competition in the day, right, where every footballer is equal. It's literally equal. You know what I mean? Every footballer at the day has a chance at the day of getting far in the competition. You know what I mean? You got people at the day that sort of like play football at the day as like a semi-pro. You know what I mean? Like on the weekends, part-time. And in a week, there might be electricians, carpenters, and this and that. Do you know what I mean? But they play for a team. They've got the chance at the day of going and playing in the FA Cup and getting far. Havant and Waterloo at the day is the main one at the day. One of the ones at the day was a dream come through to them. They got to play at Liverpool at the end of the day. Got to play at Liverpool. Half of their players were Liverpool fans. Even the sort of like the manager's a Liverpool fan. They got to play in front of the Kop. Play in front of the Kop. How many times can you say a footballer will be able to do that? Even if you sport like Arsenal, Man United, or Chelsea, get to play at that ground. You know what I mean? You understand me? Dream come through. So nobody on this God Green's earth should be ever belittled at the end of the FA Cup because it's the oldest and the best competition in the world. And I will constantly say that it's most competition because, as Kelly said, you got footballers. If you interview footballers, like the old-time footballers that, as I say, that played football in the 70s and 80s and stuff, right? They will tell you at the end of the day, right? They grew up on watching the FA Cup. The FA Cup at the end of the day was a thing for them. Do you know what I mean? And they wanted to. Their dream was to play at Wembley in the FA Cup final. Do you know what I mean? That was their dream at the end of the day. That was their motivation to become a footballer. you know, that was their motivation. So nobody can tell me at the end of the day, sort of like the FA Cup don't mean nothing. Nobody can tell me that. It means more. It literally means more. So
Big
yeah,
up, Tony.
I mean, I would second what I was second that day what Kenny Ken said. You know what I mean? I would second that because it's true. You can't belittle such a prestige tournament like that. Do you know what I mean? There's no other tournament like it, and there never will be any tournament like it. You know what I mean? You know, it's just
Yeah, you're wrong, and I completely agree. And one fine thing I will say is oh bless you, Jez. Is one thing I will say about the FA Cup. When I grew up, right, the FA Cup was so much like the Champions League final scene nowadays. It's literally a day where everybody would stop to watch it. Literally everybody. And what I don't understand about any kind of football fan nowadays not wanting the FA Cup, like everyone said, it's the most prestigious like cup competition in the world. It's the eldest. It's played in the mecca of football, and let's be honest, you can say the Maracana if you like, but Wembley is the home of football. We all know
of
that.
course it is by far.
So, like, that's another reason. And Jez said it bang on the other day when he said the great Pele said, "Oh, I never achieved everything in football because I never won the FA Cup." So that tells you. Even Brian Clough said the same thing. A guy that won back-to-back European Cups said, "I did not achieve everything in football because I did not win the FA Cup." And the thing is, maybe what's ruined it a little bit, the commercialization of football, and in sense of maybe the money in football where it's gone up, like the reward of getting something into something, say the Champions League, has taken over the prestige of the FA Cup. But that's why I want to quickly flip it to Fuzzy because he's a younger fan. How do you see the FA Cup as a modern Man United fan, Fuzzy?
The way I see the FA Cup is, again, it's something that I've learned from the older generation of supporters, how influential the FA Cup has been and how sort of intertwined with everyone's history it has been in terms of, even if you're not a supporter of a club that wins it all the time, it's just what it means to you, and the fact that it means so much to so many football communities with all the smaller clubs, the clubs down in different divisions. I mean, the fact that my most local club, Aldershot Town, most recently travelled up to West Bromwich Albion to play in the FA Cup there. I mean, I know it's not a Premier League club, but still West Bromwich Albion. That's a big challenge. It's a big game for those that Aldershot team, and communities just tapping into this sort of competition. It's like with the World Cup, you see all the different countries and different people from different backgrounds coming together for one competition. The FA Cup is just a domestic version of that. It's literally just fans of different backgrounds in all different levels of this country all coming together for one big competition at different stages, of course, but overall it's a competition for all to enjoy. It's nothing like the Premier League, which is like tier exclusive. You know, you have to qualify different seasons at different stages to get to that level to then win that competition at that time. Champions League is just a European competition for the best of the best in each different country. But the FA Cup is one of the most openly invitational tournaments in football, full stop. And it's kind of filtered down to being the same with, like, in Spain, the Copa del Rey, in German football, the DFB Pokal or something, I think it's called, and competitions like that where it's open for everyone to enjoy it. And I think it's the understanding of what that competition means. It's why to me it's so influential and so important that a team or a club like Manchester United, a club for me to support, to go and win it. And you know, I'd absolutely love to win the FA Cup. You know, right up there, it's one of the most important trophies for a football club to win. And you know, I'm desperate to win the FA Cup every single year, no matter what. If I get into a final, I'm absolutely, like, I'm happy to be in the final, but you know, I've got to win it. Just got to win it. And it's just seeing what it means to everybody else is how I've come to learn how important the FA Cup is. And I think it's a lot of modern fans need to look at that, what it means to the older generation of fans, and listen to the stories that they've got to tell about the competition instead of listening to what influencers on social media tell you. Because influencers on social media like to go with trendy opinions, and trendy opinions such as downplaying Carabao Cup finals or winning Carabao Cup tournaments is what everyone seems to follow on now. And to me, that's probably not the best way in going about it.
Mhm.
The best way is to listen to what everybody else who's lived it, breathed it, has got to say about the FA Cup, and I think that's where we've got to. It's where we've got to go.
Mhm. Well, on that note, let me bring in the only member of this panel that's won a World Cup. Tony, how are you, sir?
I'm all good. I'm all good. How about you? Your good selves?
Yeah, not bad. I was just dodging bottles before I left work, so I'm not in A&E, so I'm here, so I'm all right. Yeah, as a Hammers fan, sir, please tell me what the FA Cup means to you.
Yeah, it's an important day, isn't it? I mean, like, as we've said before, it's what you make a day of it. And especially if your club's involved in it, you're getting up early at the crack of dawn. Depending where you're going to, you're going to travel to that ground. You're all excited, and it's just the fact that it's been watered down too much. And full well, clubs are more interested about winning the Premier League than actually kind of realising that cup competitions still matter. And that's a big thing, I think. Ravi's got a question in there for you to answer, Wolfgang. And,
I've started. I'll come to it. Don't worry, I've
good,
started.
mate. But if you look at it, a lot of things have been watered down over the last couple of seasons. And it just takes a shine off of things. And I'll make Hot Fuzzy's comments is never truer. You want to make sure that your club can progress high in that cup competition to actually win it, because there's nothing better at the end of if you win that cup, there you are, open top parade, you're there, you're part of it.
Very true. Very true. A little question here regarding what we're talking about. Start from Ravi, and I'll show it up and I'll go through everyone one at a time quickly. Question for all: has the FA Cup been spoiled by playing semi-finals at Wembley? Because of course we all knew back in the day you had to get to Wembley in the final only. Let me stress that only. So let me flip that to Fuzzy. Fuzzy, what's your answer to this question, my friend?
It kind of defeats the purpose of the Manchester United song, We're on Our Way to Wembley. It's just like, what, are you on your way to Wembley to a semi-final? Are you on your way to Wembley to win the competition, to be the champions of the competition? And that to me is, I do feel like the FA Cup being played semi-finals at Wembley is just like, you might as well just be down there for the whole week. Play semi-finals one weekend, and then play the finals as the grand final. And it's set up an Olympic village for all of Olympic style village for all of the teams, the players, and then all the fans. They can stay in hotels around the area and make it a grand weekend or something, or a couple weekends. But in all seriousness, I feel like the FA Cup being played at Wembley in the semi-final stages, it sort of downplays the special, the edge that the FA Cup has being decided in Wembley, as opposed to you get to Wembley. It's like United versus Brighton. We win the semi-finals on penalties against Brighton. It's just like, yeah, we won a penalty final shootout at Wembley. Oh wait, we've got another game to play. We've got to come back here again to play a final. And it's just like, it kind of feels a bit of a anticlimactic element about it. And I feel like it should all just be a build up to the pinnacle of that competition. I think it'll give a little bit of extra shine on that competition if it was just Wembley the final.
Jezza?
Absolutely, man. I when I saw that question come out, I was sitting there thinking, it takes the glamour, or it takes the shine off going to Wembley, because what is the point if you've dare I say this? Let's say it's a Man United, Man City FA Cup final. Why not go and play it at, dare I say this, Anfield or Hillsborough, or as it used to be back in the day, at Villa Park.
Yeah, for the park. Yeah.
And I said this the other day. It was always a very interesting thing when you saw the draw come out, and Arsenal were in a semi-final. You'd always wonder which fan base would get the whole end, the big, back in the day, the big old massive terrace. You know, when it was, I'm talking about when it was standing. Yeah, because that was an awesome place to go. I just think it has. I think personally, it's taking the shine off the cup, and don't see the point of it. If you've got two teams in the south, and that has happened, go and play at a neutral ground. You know, let's for example, say it was Arsenal Tottenham, right? Let's go and play at Chelsea. Yeah. You know, why not? Chelsea's got a decent ground. Yeah. Or you know, why would you want to drag Newcastle United and all their fans down to Wembley if you're playing Middlesbrough?
What about Twickenham?
Twickenham? Yeah, I don't know if they're open for football. I don't know.
Wrexham.
It's a good point. Yeah. I don't understand because all the, you know, in these tough days for people, right? And it is tough times all around.
Yeah.
If you've got fans that have got to travel from the north, east, northwest of the country all the way down to bloody London, yeah, trains, getting home, all that drama, play it a bit more local. You know, leave the Wembley game. Leave the Wembley game to have the shine. That's the gold on the FA Cup because that is what everybody's striving for. And I personally think it's taken a lot out of the FA Cup myself. Really has. I think it's spoilt it to a point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uncle Ken? You're muted.
So the thing with the FA Cup is that we ruined it without thinking in '91 when Spurs played Arsenal in '91, and then rather than have the game at Upton Park or where we have the game at Chelsea's ground at the time in '91, they played a game at Wembley, and then 2 years later they did the same thing when we drew each other in the semi-final. And then what's happened is that Sheffield United are playing Leeds, and that game should have been at Leeds United. We're playing Sheffield Wednesday, because now the FA set a precedent, and then Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield United wanted to play at Wembley because they didn't want to play at Leeds for some reason. And then the season afterwards, they had both semi-finals at Wembley, and the FA realised it was not a great idea, and they went back to what they should do, which I always believe: neutral ground, Villa Park, Anfield, Goodison Park, Hillsborough, the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Got no objection to that. If you want to play a game, Emirates Stadium, all those sort of grounds of the Premiership, if the FA is so desperate for the money, why don't the Premiership do something for football and do something for like grassroots football by saying, right, let the FA keep all the gate. All they have to do is pay you to rent the ground. Everything, the TV money, everything, they even bring their own stewards in, and the FA will pay your stewards. And I think Premiership clubs will go for it.
Great.
And that way, the FA don't lose money. But by insisting on having games to Wembley because you're in debt, because you decided to buy Wembley, like no one asked the FA to buy Wembley, and it put them into debt. And now they're thinking that they made some big sacrifice. That's why every game is at Wembley. I mean, it gets ridiculously boring. Sheffield United played Man City last season, old game at Wembley. Man United played Brighton last semi-final. Oh, it's pathetic. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. But that's the FA for you. The FA have always been about money. Ever since they rebuilt Wembley, all they've cared about is cashing in. That's all they're about. And that's why we've got games at Wembley. But let me tell you something now. It takes to shine the FA Cup final. Because the FA Cup final could not be the same if both teams already played at Wembley. It should be a unique experience. But it isn't.
No.
Tony?
Well, I agree with Ken. I mean, when the FA bought Wembley and that actually redeveloped the whole thing, they had to pay for it. And you know, for me, the Millennium Stadium wasn't a bad shout. There was a good turnout there. Everyone enjoyed going to that place itself. Millennium Stadium put on a good show, but the FA, they wanted their pound of flesh, and to keep the FA the semi-finals there after all this time, you guarantee that the place has been bought and paid for.
No,
So really now they should revert back to the old ways and use neutral grounds. So yeah, it's I agree with what Jez says as well. It's just taking the shine off of it. What we all knew as we're going to I remember when we played Nottingham Forest at Villa, lost it obviously 4-0 because Keith Hackett. That's a different story altogether. But at the same point, it was a day out, and that's what you enjoyed about it. But the FA, it's just pure greed from them, basically.
Uncle Rod.
Listen, at the day when it was at Villa Park, we had Villa Park, it created more excitement. Do you know what I mean? But you see, this is the thing at the day with the FA and the Premier League itself. Do you know what I mean? They're all money orientated. Do you know what I mean? Anything to make a buck. So they don't mind at the day sort of like ruining your excitement, ruining your happiness, as long as they can make a buck. Do you know what I mean? Because it does literally take the shine off, sort of like, having, like a team at the day going to Wembley twice. There's no excitement in there anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's just all done. When you had it at Villa Park and everything like that, you literally earned the right to get to the final. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it's about. It's about earning the right to get to the final and earning the right to play at Wembley. Do you know what I mean? But with these big wigs and everything like that, they put themselves in so much debt. So then what happens now and then they have to ruin your happiness, ruin your sort of like excitement in order for them to sort of be able to either line their pockets or pay off some other people and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Where there's our grounds in London and then they could have it and make their money back. You know what I mean? Look, West Ham's ground was at London Stadium. They could have it there. Do you know what I mean? Tottenham's ground. Do you know what I mean? Emirates. Do you know what I'm saying? There are grounds at the day they can say, right, you know what? Then if it's two London clubs at the day in the semi-final, look, we're not gonna have it at Wembley. We'll have it at London Stadium. We'll have it at Tottenham ground. We'll have it at Arsenal ground. They can even go as far as say, look, we'll have it at Stamford Bridge. Do you understand what I'm getting at? So that's not the only alternative that they can turn to say, right, you know what, we're going to play it at Wembley. Two games at Wembley, semi-finals and a final. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense. I think that's the thing about it. It just literally makes no sense. And they having the semi-finals at Wembley and on the finals at Wembley. What the hell? Do you know what I mean? I mean, it literally makes no sense. So I don't understand it. I think at the end they should just go back to the old way. At the end day, we had a neutral ground, Villa Park. That was good ground, you know what I mean, to have it at. Do you know what I mean? Just do it there. Just do it there, because the reason why at the end they like for the Northerners at the day it'll be good at the end day, because like, if you're for the Northeast or the Northwest and stuff, and you have to come down, sort of come and play, sort of like semi-final against the London Cup, you can meet in the middle, aren't you? The Midlands. Meet in the middle. You know what I mean?
You're right. I think things could be done better to preserve because that's the thing. And this is, sorry, I'll let you finish, but I do think they should do more to preserve the spirit of Wembley. Yeah. But yeah, sorry, I'll finish what you're saying.
No, not only have they done that, I mean, I'll just finish off now, but not only have they done that with the FA Cup, they've done that with the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? They've done that with the Europa Cup. Now they've got the Europa League. Do you know what I mean? It's all about making money. So like the excitement of football is slowly draining out, because you've got people in there and they, right, that probably invested so heavy in football. Do you know what I mean? They want to see a return now. So they'll have sort of like where, not only have you got like four sort of like teams that can get into Champions League, now they want 5 in there. Yeah. The world club competition that one
championship, club championship.
Yeah, they're trying to make it into a tournament now, where people can get in there without even sort of like winning Europe. What the hell?
That's just to rinse the footballers, to be honest.
No, but yeah, I mean, but they're making money. So instead of going around, so instead of like going around the proper route, nowadays anybody can get in there on sort of like on, I don't know how many times you've been in there and in the last couple of years or this and that, blah blah blah. They're trying to make a tournament out of it. Do you know what I mean? So really and truly, everything at the day is just turning like money. It all comes down to money. Do you know what I mean? And they're literally ruining football, literally.
Well, that's the sad thing for me in the terms of if you want to sell out Wembley, why would you not just hold one game there instead of 3 or 4? Because at the end of the day, obviously, if you know you're only going to get one chance to do something, people will make more effort, you know? And I think it does boil down to what a combination of what everyone said. To be honest, it's a commercial venture. It's trying to get more people down to London to spend. It's a combination of like other commercial things, but mainly money being down the center of it. And I agree with everyone when they say maybe the semi-finals could be played better in an old school way if maybe the fans didn't have a million miles to go as well, that it could be more enjoyed. So I do think that's a great point virtually brought up by everybody. Now, I want to say that just on my own sense, because Wembley is so important to most football fans, in the sense of it's kind of like the Maracanã, in the sense of not regular games are played there, because I believe it's because there's no club team at the Maracanã, is there? It's just only international fixtures and cup finals are played there. And I want Wembley to go back to just being the same way, because the Maracanã still has its magnificence and somehow Wembley doesn't. I don't find, maybe that's just the South American mindset in terms of like they always treat like being there like a big thing, but it's not the same here anymore. And that's sad because it's a heritage of our football. It's like, you know what I mean? It's the birthplace of football. Like, why would you want to ignore and gentrify the birthplace of football? It's just absolutely ridiculous. Now, what I want to quickly move on to is if the FA Cup and the Carling Cup are worthless and it's not really worth going to Wembley anymore, are we at the stage now in terms of football where money making has overridden trophies? Because again, touching what infuriated Jez and Kenny when we were speaking a bit off air before we started, was the fact of no one seems to take these trophies, not even the clubs. Now, can I ask everyone, because obviously 3 of us support bigger teams where Tony supports a smaller team, but I'm sure it's even more. No. But the thing is, obviously, like over the last 15 years, I will say any team can win the FA Cup. Leicester proved that, and Portsmouth won that. So, like, I would have thought that would be even more prevalent to other fans, if you would know, because obviously you got more chance of winning it. Because let's make like Fuzzy. I think Fuzzy brought up Leicester earlier. Portsmouth. When who beat Man City? Was it Portsmouth in the
Wigan got relegated the same season.
That's right. Thank you very much. That was the one I was looking for. Was it Martinez, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, it's one of those competitions where it's the people's trophy. Everyone has a chance of being in it. Everyone has a chance to win it, and particularly Arsenal fans. Now, one thing that confuses me about certain Arsenal fans is you guys have won the FA Cup the most. Why wouldn't you want to reassert your dominance over the trophy by winning it again and again and again and again and again and again? Because, you know what I mean? You don't see, like, say, any other team when they get to a certain amount of trophies go, you know what, that's enough. Let's stop. Like, so I got to ask.
Influencers. It's the influencers. The thing is that people take influencers too seriously. You know what I mean? They generally believe. And I think what's happening is that if you look at all the TV channels and all the radio channels, they got young producers who scull through social media. Like they're not as outgoing as they were before. Like a lot of young producers these days, back in the day, used to go around the streets and go and interview people. Say, yeah, blah blah blah, or advertise. Can you come on now? All they have to do is go, right, he's got the most subscribers on his YouTube channel. Oh yeah, we've got to go AFTV's on it. Right, I'll get them. That's it. And a lot of these influencers got agents, so they have agents now who will call Sky Sports up or call Talk Radio or Talk
Talk sport, yeah.
Talk Sport or BBC Live said, right, I can get this one on, or BBC Sport, or you know what I mean, and you know who they are. So what happens is that any other fan who would like to go on, he's not going to get that opportunity to have a different view. They're all prepped on what to say. They all signed disclosure agreements about not talking, not saying what goes on off air, what goes on in the studio with a person, this and that. They all got confidentiality statements they got to sign. So where's the transparency? But people think, because of that, people think they represent the fan base. So normal fans like us, no one wants to hear from us. We get bypassed.
Well, on that point, Unks, right? Can I just say, do you think that's the ultimate kind of mockery of modern football? The fact that even the fans now are manipulated and are part of it, where before they weren't.
Well, it definitely is, because simple reason is that you've got thing in modern football is that you talk about money, right? Everyone in football is a stakeholder, and everyone wants to make their penny and a pound in football. Like, of course, it's going to be the players, and it's got to be the the chairman. Now you've got a situation where referees now want to be famous, but now it's fans. What happened with the conception of AFTV is made it a situation where it's made it very easy for TV producers to just pick people. I could say categorically, if it wasn't for AFTV, a lot of people wouldn't be on YouTube. I'm not saying that, you guys looked at Robbie Lowe and said, oh, yeah, I want a YouTube channel, but subconsciously he has led the way. He's made it very successful, and he's made it, in a way that,
he's my inspiration for doing it.
Yeah, and that's it. So,
he's
inspiration. He's inspiration.
Yeah, he was my inspiration. Sorry, I knew
but you know from growing up anyway. So him.
Yeah, personally. That's what I said. So it was my inspiration. So you are right. You are right. You're right.
But the thing about it though, the thing you've got to remember, one thing about it, that's all well and good, but the situation is that it has to be a balanced out where other fans need to have a say. You shouldn't just look at someone and think, right, he's got an agent, he's got a YouTube channel, and let's use him. How about, what's wrong with going around and sending out the invitation like you used to do before? What's wrong with going down on Islington after Arsenal had a win or a defeat or a draw? It's a controversial moment, and interview fans. They do it. But most of the time now, I'm saying, well, we're now going to talk to Robbie Lowe of Arsenal Fan TV, the main Arsenal channel. We're now going to talk to Sophie Rose, who's a big Chelsea fan.
God.
She's from Chelsea TV. You know what I mean?
Astrid,
for West Ham Fan TV. So are they the only people support West Ham? Are they the only people support Arsenal? Are they Chelsea? That's what it is nowadays.
Well, I've started this from DJ Crane, and I think this is a good point. AFTV is paid by the club, hence no one can say Arteta out. If you do, you're done with, as a certain if you're a YouTube owner. Well, that's what I was just now saying to everyone about, has the fans now been undermined by the media? Because then, obviously, now, if the fans can be finessed and the narrative can be controlled, we've had it. And that's basically the point I was getting at. And the thing is with Robbie, I used to like Robbie when Kenny Ken was on it, when Lee Gunner was on it. Forgive me for saying this, DT was on it, Troops was on it, you know what I mean? Because it was real fans giving real opinions. Now you got guys like Julian. And excuse me, Jed?
Uncle Fester.
Anyway, yeah, but you're right. It in terms of, that's what I don't like about AFTV now, in the fact of, and certain other Chelsea channels as well, in the sense of, like, you see that there's not their own opinions anymore. And that's what I hate, because if you can infest the fan base, mate, it's like they live settings. You've infested us. It's about, like, who can you trust, who can't you? But yeah, but moving on, because I just wanted to ask the question to the panel, because, okay, if domestic trophies aren't worth anything anymore, what's the point in football? You know what I mean? What do we play for now? Like, is it just to get into the Champions League or see if we can be Premier League? That's not enough. for what I've seen. So you know, and I'll start this with Fuzzy. Okay, if trophies aren't important to Fuzzy, what is?
Merchandise.
Yeah.
Relay
Buy a
Righty!
new shirt.
Woo!
Woohoo!
I had to do
Relay
that.
Righty.
Don't do me for copyright. Lee. Sorry.
You're going to come for us now. Yeah, finding anything but, and it feels like that it's like what I was saying with the FA Cup, how everyone listens nowadays, or younger generation of fans listen to influencers as opposed to listening to the older generations that have actually lived and breathed the competitions. For me, it's whatever it is that they say is kind of what everyone sort of goes along with. And because we're so wired into social media that an opinion can travel far and wide, and I think a lot of people are very conscious of that. A lot of people are very conscious that you say something anywhere that's got a camera or a microphone, you're wary that what you've said is going to reach out to thousands of people, and that they're all going to start coming for you. They either listen to you, they support you, or they will absolutely slaughter you. And I think that's probably a big motivator for the way in which a lot of people think about football nowadays, is that they try and almost split it into more and more little pieces. Like you take a sheet of paper and you rip it up piece by piece, but the pieces just get smaller and smaller and smaller until it's just teeny tiny little pieces. But you can literally say something about one teeny tiny little piece rather than talk about the whole sheet of paper. You talk about one teeny tiny little piece, and everyone's just raving mad about what you've said. They're just like, oh yeah, this guy speaks facts. Second coming of Christ of football. Love this guy. It honestly feels like that with the way in which people talk about football nowadays, and that it's less so about supporting your team and say, I want my team to be better than your team. I want my team to be better than yours. I want my team in the Premier League to be better than 19 other teams for this season. That's where the conversation came from. Now it's, I want my team to qualify for a competition because that means I get to assign better players who I, to be honest, don't really care about whether that player then helps my club to win trophies. As long as we finish top 4 again next season. And it's kind of just...
What, status over... status? Anyway, did you mean status over results? Is that
yeah.
a fair way of putting it?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're in Champions League, sign all the better players, right? If you're not in Champions League, then, it's the end of the world. Mate, if you're in Champions League, cool, you qualify for another competition. And that's kind of the mentality that I have for finishing in European place. So if United scrape into Europa League conference competition, I'm going to say, well, next season, I'm not going to start peddling nonsense about, it's a process, guys. It's a new start. Sir Jim Ratcliffe ball, guys. No, we're in the Conference League. There's an opportunity to win a trophy. Win it. You then go up to Europa League. Then you're in the Europa League. Win that. Win Europa League. You go into Champions League. Then you can win that. It's a staggered competition. And if you are incentivizing your trophy haul at first base, like that's priority number one, you can enjoy these other conversations afterwards. You can enjoy the Martin Odegaard's expected hair flicks. But you've covered the fundamentals of your clubs going on to achieve the highest honours in the game. I mean, it might be hard to have conversations about expected hair flicks from Martin Odegaard in conversations about trophies, because I doubt he'd be a part of a team that wins trophies. But, I mean, never say never. I mean, it could happen, but it is massively like social media influence has definitely skewered, and I think almost ruins the bigger picture of why people used to support football clubs. And I suppose it comes a little bit can come from conversations that I used to have with school kids back in secondary school. I used to get nicknamed a glory hunter because I was a United fan. I was just like, well, so what? I get to enjoy my team being the best team in the world, and all these other fans are saying, glory hunter, glory hunter. Why? You're stuck in lower competitions. You're down bad. Cry about it. Like that's it's got to be about trophies and success in championship clubs, League One clubs, League Two clubs. Hey, there's a league division that you can win. Can win trophies to go up into the next division. It still counts towards your trophy haul.
Yeah, you can.
There is also the J Paint Trophy. I can't remember what the name of it is now, but it's a lower cup competition for the lower division teams as well that they compete in around about
Is
the
that
same
the
sort of time.
Dunstan Paint Trophy? Is that?
Yeah,
what
I think it's that. So lower league teams have got another cup competition that they can play for. Don't worry about the big Premier League sides coming in to knock you out.
All right.
And those fans, there's trophies for all fans to back their clubs to go on and win at all levels.
All right.
Oh, he's frozen.
You've done him. You've done him in, man.
No, sorry.
His mind is exposed.
He's back in the room.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so Tony, sorry, if trophies don't matter in football, what does?
Well, if you look over my shoulder, I've got a one, so I'm okay with what I've got so far.
There you go. There you go. You had to be there.
It's only taken me 10 minutes to get it in there, but it's in there. But yeah, I think it is important. You know what I mean? All fans want to see their clubs do well. In the Premier League, in the respective league that they're playing in, and obviously progressing cups, because obviously that gives us more football to watch. For us as creators, it gives us more chance to have our channels airing football. So yeah, for me, it's a big thing. And as you said, Si, Hot Fuzz, if you win the Europa League, the conference, you go into the Europa League. Europa League, you're in the Champions League, which we're actually knocking on the door for at the moment. So we've got the opportunity of that. So for us at the moment, for West Ham fans, as much as some people don't like Wade Moyes is playing West Ham at the moment, he's doing things right. We're sitting nicely in the Premier League at the moment. We're doing very well in the Champions League. Probably going to get knocked out by Bristol City, but that's another thing altogether. But they are important, So yeah, for me, I want my club to do well. I think like all of you do. You want your clubs to do well.
Yep. But well, I'll tell you what. That's exactly what you more or less said. What I was going to say. What Tony says is, if you're an elite club, you look to win everything regardless. So yeah, but Tony's just summed that up beautifully for me. So, Uncle Rodders, what do you think? What if trophies don't matter? What does?
Fuck all, mate. That's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
All matters, mate. I tell you. No, it's true.
Is that your whole answer? Fuck all.
No, but it's true. No, but you know what it is at the end of the day, sort of like, as a fan, at the end of the day, you live and breathe for these moments at the end of the day that you can have in tournaments. Do you know what I mean? League Cup, FA Cup. If you're sort of like fortunate to get into Europe, whether it be the Europa Cup, whether it be Champions League, you live for those moments. Do you know what I mean? So domestic cups at the end of the day, right, is sort of like a great platform for greatness. Do you know what I mean? A great platform for greatness. And so if that doesn't matter, to me, fuck all matters. Seriously, if that doesn't matter, fuck all matters. You know what I mean? Because there'll be nothing really to play for, because all you'd be doing in the day is trying to get into a tournament in the day that you could be sort of like less fortunate to get into, because not everybody can get into sort of like the Europa Cup. Not everybody can get into sort of like the Champions League. But like the League Cup and the FA Cup, everybody's got a chance. You understand me? So like, if that don't matter, fuck all matters. That's what I say.
Well, there you go. There, Uncle Rods has dropped it the way only he can drop it. Jezza, if trophies don't matter, what does?
Give up.
Yeah.
Give up the game. Bid it. Let's all go and play snooker or something like that. Because at the end of the day, silverware is what clubs have played for 150 odd years, basically. And if you don't get that, if you don't get that in under your, if you can't understand what that's about, then give up watching football. Yeah. Because you're one of the get along gangs that nobody can lose. It's a 100-meter race and everybody gets a trophy. No bullshit, man. You're at, in top flight football, all levels of football, all levels of sport. You compete to win. That's what it's about. Otherwise, don't bother.
Yeah.
Stay at home, put your feet up, and watch something else. And early doors. I love that comment, man, about West Ham. I think there was a few Leeds United in that team as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was indeed, mate. There was indeed.
United, you know what I mean? Bobby Charlton, he weren't bad, and Nobby Styles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but who banged in the goals though, Jez? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm
No.
saying.
There we go, isn't it?
I'll give you Jeff first, man.
Hey, Tony, don't forget Vieira assists. Petit scored a third goal in the World Cup final in '98 for Brazil.
Yeah. When Arsenal win it, Ken, we have to bypass that one. Sorry, mate, we have to bypass that one.
And on that note, Tony's out. Kenny Ken,
it's a fair comment, Ken. It's a fair comment.
Yeah.
Kenny Ken, if Uncle Ken, if trophies don't matter, what does?
Well, games back glory. The game's back glory. You know, you've got to think about the bigger picture, right? Fulham, for all they're one of the oldest clubs in English football. They haven't won a major trophy. You know what I mean? They have not won a major trophy. You know, QPR are older than Arsenal. They've only won one major trophy, which is the 1967 League Cup. Every team in this planet should be up for glory. Now, we support clubs that have won big trophies, right? The most wholesome thing I saw last year was West Ham celebrations when they won the Europa Conference League. I was so jealous. I was so envious, but I was so pleased for their fans. The most wholesome thing I saw was they invited Bobby Moore's daughter on the bus when they were going through the streets. They didn't just go through Stratford, where they're based now. They went all the way through E13. He's got it up. Here he goes. Here he goes. They all went through E13. And you think about it, they didn't win a major trophy for 43 years. Yeah. That's what it's all about. Everyone involved in the game.
Shameless, man.
Look at him, innit? But everyone was involved within the club and everything. And you know what the best thing about it was? It was people from all generations. It was the kids who were brought up around to support West Ham from their grandfathers and their fathers. But the local community. Now, if you go to Green Street, the local community there are Asian. You know, they don't normally go to West Ham, especially when it was in Green Street. But now, seeing all of those, every community, all East Enders from all different backgrounds around the world celebrating that West Ham in a trophy, that's the most wholesome thing, the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. You look at Man City fans. Before Sheikh Mansour came, they didn't win anything for 35 years. That's why I will never begrudge them winning what they won, because it's all about winning. Chelsea, as much as I am envious, and they're a bit of our rivals, I can understand the pleasure you guys got when you won the league for the first time in 50 years and all the glory you brought with Abramovich. Do you think I'm going to be like Arsenal fans going, oh, you bought it all?
We still have to win it.
I'll tell you that one thing there. Any Arsenal fan would kill for the expenditure the managers have gone through the doors at Stamford Bridge and the Etihad Stadium. And then I'll get into Liverpool, same thing. We'll kill for Klopp. And then you and Man United fan, hot fuss, under Sir Alex. I don't envy you that. I wish I had it myself. And we had the glory days under Wenger. So any fan that doesn't want glory, they shouldn't be in football. The problem is you've got too many clubs who just make numbers up in the Premiership, who just want to be there for the money. They're what I call the worst thing that ever happened.
Don't agree with that, man.
My problem with the Premiership is those clubs.
Yeah.
Who just want to be there, like your Norwiches, who just come, get relegated and come back up. I'm glad to see the back of teams like Norwich.
We're the seesawers. Yeah.
Leeds
as well. Leeds have been
Reading. You remember that player, David Kitson, when they were in the FA Cup, he said he couldn't give a damn about the FA Cup. We're not going to win anyway. Up yours, Dave. Gladstone, Reading. I don't want any club that comes to the Premiership. If you don't want to win a trophy, just go away. You're soiling it, because that's what I've got an issue with. Some of these clubs, like the Sunderlands, have been in the Premiership. They've made more money than Bayern Munich, who are actually one of the biggest clubs in the world, because they got all this TV money coming from around the world. They're what I call, and I say it lightly, they're I don't want to say it because it's a horrible thing to say, but they're a boil. They're a big boil that we need to lance. The clubs who know just want to be in a Premiership just to exist and make money. They're a boil. You need to lance these boils.
Right, yeah, Kenny wants the pot boils. It leaked out here
Not
first.
them, because the mentality of these people, I don't like them. I don't like them. Every club should try and win a trophy. Yeah, of course you're not going to win it. Of course, Man United and all these big clubs have got more than a chance of you. But you could try. Why are you playing? Why are you playing weakened teams? Bolton Wanderers playing weakened teams in FA Cup games, and all these other teams that come up. Who do you think you are?
Yeah, that's a very fact point, Kenny.
It's
nonsensical. But I have to take this to task. Stephanie Griffith, you had to bring it up, didn't you? FA Cup 1980. You had to bring it up, didn't you? You know,
Stephanie.
That's like cutting Kenny and my throat. You know,
That hurts still to this day, you know. And we played crap as well, Jez.
We played crap, man. Jesus, dear God, that was absolutely a shit show.
I blame it on tiredness. We played Liverpool 4 times. That's why we didn't have energy.
You're trying to blame it on tiredness 40 years down the line. That's a good
mate. No. Kenny, in AFTV terms, mate, Ty, it was too hot, the pitch was too dry.
And it rained.
Yeah.
You didn't get a cup of tea at break time.
Yeah.
No, but I think don't get me wrong. Good luck to West. No, I'm not going to say good luck to West Ham. But do you remember Willie Young's tackle when it should have been a professional foul? He should have been sent off when Paul Allen done him.
I used to love Willie Young's hair.
Done it again. 3 cup final. You know, YouTube. Sunderland beating Leeds after beating Arsenal in the semi. Yeah, I mean, I tell you, we're going to fall out here, aren't we?
She's gone on one more.
I think Stephanie's a bigger historian than me. She's a bigger historian than me.
Hey, Steph, one more than that, you're in time out, darling. You're going to get a yellow card because you're upsetting my panel.
Stuart Pearson for a Trevor Brooking Pearson assist for Trevor Brooking.
Oh, Stuart Pearson assist for Trevor. Sorry, Jez. All right, well, you will be when you get banned, lady. No joking.
I was going to say, Wolfie, I'm not upset at all, mate. I mean, I'm loving it. Carry on.
Hang on, we got another question here from Ravi. Question for all at your club: what would you say would evaluate your teams to winning trophies and titles? Oh, all right. Yeah.
Elevate,
in other words, what would you say
elevate,
would be a realistic? Yeah, elevate. What's realistic aims for all our clubs, basically? So, all right, Fuzzy, what's a realistic? Actually, no. Let me start off with Tony on this one. Tony, what's a realistic aim for West Ham?
For us, and that is obviously just as we've been doing, like for this transfer window, this summer transfer window, is buying in the right players, and that's what it boils down to, and that's elevated us. The likes of Kudos, Ward-Prowse, even Mavropanos, Alvarez. Yeah, they've been quite a big influence for the club. So it's elevated the fans, the fan base. It's elevated the club. We're playing better football than we was last season. We had no choice but to. So for us, that's my answer, pure and simple.
Jezza, what do Arsenal need to do? What should they be aiming for?
Get a new manager, mate. Simple.
Oh, there you go then. All right then. Jezza doesn't want trophies or titles. He wants a new manager, which I don't blame him, by the way. Kenny?
All I want for Christmas is a new manager. There you go.
Oh dear.
I'm waiting for that, pal.
I want Arsenal to win I want Arsenal to win the Champions League, because I think if Arsenal win the Champions League, it's going to be the best thing ever, and he'll right the wrong from 2006. Because if Arsenal win the Champions League, one thing message it will give us is that we're actually burying that inferiority complex we have when we play teams in Europe in general. I mean, Arteta's record in Europe is a joke. He's not even a funny one, and it's not a funny one, by the way. It's a sick joke. So he could do that. But look, the only chance of I think our best chance of silverware is already gone. So if he doesn't win anything this season and we only get the top 4, I know that other clubs will take it. And I'm not being disrespectful. I get it. But for the money he spent, we could have spent half of that money and still got the top 4. So I'm sorry, you've got to win major trophies for it and win or challenge or win the league. Can't do that. Get a manager in who knows how to teach players how to win. And Arteta, as far as concerned, is a building manager, and that's all he is. I'm sorry. Oh, here he goes again. What's the name? European Cups.
Yeah.
There we go, innit?
Yeah. You just have to come in and start throwing knives around. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't argue with Yeti with the fact that he's won a champion with the European Cup. That isn't whatever you could say about Arsenal and everything he's done. If he just all he has to do is just get a couple of videos out of Brian Clough years, and I just have to walk away. I can't win an argument with Yeti.
Yeah, young man, what are you doing in my football club, son? We're here to play football. Yeah. So, Jezza, I know you. Was there anything else other than Arteta out, or could I flip it to Uncle Rods and Fuzzy?
No, I totally endorse what Kenny just said. I'd love Arsenal to win the Champions League after we were cheated out of it in 2006 when we were cheated. No question about that. We were sodding cheated, and Arsenal would have won that if we hadn't had a cheat referee. No question. And I mean, you know me, I never normally complain about referees or linesmen or whatever. VAR, it is what it is. But that goal was a bloody cheat. Anyway, there we go. You know.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I asked, you answered. What can I say?
Yeah, let's be honest. You know, we've called this now. You know, we had a chance. We didn't take the chance in the Carrier Bag Cup. We've got out of it in the FA Cup again, dare I say. And I just want to say, this is one of the worst records of Arsenal Football Club in the FA Cup since the 60s. Well done, Arteta. Nice one, fella. Once again, going out, you know, third, fourth, third. Nice one. You know, you can't make it up, can you? Really?
Well, to be honest, Arteta's competition in cup competition is kind of useless anyway. And the only one he did win was off of the back of a toxic squad. So it kind of makes me laugh how, I'm not being funny, Arteta for me, even if you just look at his own work, he's gone backwards because you've gone from first to fourth and maybe who knows. But yeah, but Uncle Rods, you got anything you want to add to that one?
I just think what's going to help us probably win, sort of like elevate this season. You know, I mean, we're doing well at the moment. Anyway. We're doing well, winning all competitions, top of the league. So we're doing well. So there's this hope factor that we've got, hoping that, you know, that we can sort of like get over the line. Do you know what I mean? But I think one of the things that needs is less injuries.
What a bastard. Sorry, I just read Yeti's comment. Who does Arsenal have in the fourth round? Or is it Crazy? Yeah, that's a bastard question.
We'll beat Blackpool at home in a cup.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, they got a replay there. They got a replay, mate.
Wait.
We'll 4-1 last year.
Wait,
he lost 4-1, fella. So, you know, I wouldn't shout just too soon.
I might duck underneath my desk, everybody. Fuzzy, to add, like, what? Well, Man United. Well, you would need to win just about anything at Man United right now, wouldn't you? To elevate you guys.
Well, yeah. First and foremost, fix the widespread club attitude problem that everyone's got. I mean, we see a lot of players being linked with moves away this January transfer window. Long may it continue. You know, long may all of these toxic players that have been a part of just failure after failure after failure under different managers, get kicked out at long last, get a new fresh-faced United with new standards, a hungry endeavour to chase down trophies, develop as a team, become a world beater, and go on to dominate football. That's
Right in 59.
I mean, it's got to start with fixing the way in which people behave at the club. Get professionals in at the top end of the board, so that you haven't got wet wipes like Murto Madness doing a madness and then disappearing and then crying about, oh, it's a hard life being a director of football. No one respects me. I wonder why. You look spineless and all. So we need someone who's going to go in there and who's not going to get bullied by player agents to put them on 300k a week wages to then not appear for anything, not appear, play for your club, or just take hiatuses. We need someone that's going to be in control of everything at the top end, sort things out for whoever the manager is, get a manager that's actually got an idea that has then got full backing, and then a squad of players that are absolutely wanting more than anything to represent Manchester United and play for the badge on the shirt, and actually have a bit of pride, a bit of dignity, and things will start falling into place. And one thing will lead to another, and gradually we'll get to days of success. But we'd have to see progress at the same time as that.
Well, can I ask you a question? Right, I know the question was about does it actually elevate anything. Well, can I ask you, because your manager has recently won a cup already compared to everybody else, with the exception of maybe Tony with Moisey, because obviously they won a trophy last season as well. Would you say that in winning a trophy has actually helped your manager, or helped nail into the wall more?
I think it's done two things. I think it's bought him some time and a little bit of patience this season, because if he hadn't won anything last season, I think a lot of people would just be like, well, there's nothing positive to remember this manager for. The other side of things is that because of what we managed last season, anything that's
2 seconds, I'll be right back.
Anything that is any form of regression from last season in terms of league position, but also where you are in competitions. I mean, at this stage, we're in all four competitions. We're in the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and also Europa League at the time. So we're fighting on all four fronts, kind of like what Liverpool are doing right now. So already we're in a much worse position than we were last season. There's mitigating factors as to what we can blame that on. But for me, it's like it's definitely not helped that there has been any slight of regression, because I think United fans as well, maybe a little bit of impatience with tolerance perhaps, but I mean there's understandable criticisms with the manager. I know the boardroom, squad toxicity, dressing room, all of those problems, they exist. Big issue. Managers sometimes can help make the best of a bad situation. One problem that I find with a lot of United managers is that when it starts to go wrong, they also lose their heads as well, and they sort of mainline it to getting the sack quite simply. And for me, I don't know with Ten Hag, especially with this season. I feel like if he gets knocked out of the FA Cup, or the second that top four becomes mathematically impossible, as frustrating as it might sound for a lot of people that talk trophies, once top four is impossible, he'll be out the door, I think. They'll pull the trigger on him.
I think, it is hot fuss about Ten Hag. He's been, they said, they had a very interesting conversation in the overlap regarding should managers get players, or should it be someone like a director of football or someone with a scout or something. And I think with Ten Hag, he's been given overall control over your players. and a lot of the players he's brought in are actually his players. You know, like Anthony, you paid 89 million for Anthony, and he's brought in people like Casemiro. He's brought, you know, who you know, like I said, great experienced player, but is he Premiership style? And obviously he's brought Onana because he knows him from like Ajax. So he's brought all these like players in. It's very much his team, but he knows what they can do in Holland. But you know, maybe I just get the feeling that with a lot of Man United is that one season you think you turned it around, like you same things like you had Solskjaer when you had Van Gaal, and obviously when you had Mourinho as well, and obviously you know Ten Hag. The next season, it's like you go backwards, and it's like all the same situation again. And I think what it is with Man United is that I think you've put your brand before the football team, and there's too many people at Man United who players as well who loves the status of being part of Man United. Like it's like me being a footballer and saying, right, I'm a footballer and I play for Liverpool, but I only play in Liverpool reserves, but I still go to a big nightclub in London and say, look, I'm a Liverpool footballer. So, oh yeah, here you are in the VIP. I'm a Liverpool football player. Oh, here's my credit card. Oh, I'm for Liverpool, but you don't contribute nothing. And I think you've got too many people at your club, players and people behind the scenes who really shouldn't really be there. And so this guy, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, he's talking a good game. One thing I do find a bit surprising is for someone who owns 25%, he's throwing his weight around a bit. I just get the impression, one, that the Glazers have got a fall guy in case it goes wrong. So, well, we weren't last making the decision, it's just Jim. Or he's on a promise to buy more of the club. So before we know it, he's owning 75% of the club. Because for someone who runs, he's making a lot of decisions, big decisions that the Glazers should be making. And
don't forget, they've given him control of the players, haven't they? The coaching staff and all that stuff. But I think what you're saying there, Ken, I think there is a bigger thing behind the scenes. I think he is going to be buying more shares, and I think this is just a start of getting into the doorway. And eventually you'll see the Glazers go. But I think they're going to take the old usual, take the money and run. They'll get what they get out of it, and then they're off. And then Radcliffe will take the whole shebang, and you'll see a big change at Man United.
It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me that if that's what's going on. Do you know what I mean? Nothing surprises me when it comes to Man United, really. Do you know what I mean? But I just think, really, at the end of the day, in order to set a Man United's problems at the end of the day, they need an overhaul. Do you know what I mean? They really need an overhaul. They need to get rid of the dead weight, because there is a lot of dead weight at the day at that club. Do you know what I mean?
I think Arsenal and Man United could use that, by the way, and Arsenal.
I don't think so much as Arsenal. I don't think so much as Arsenal, because there are like quite a few members of the Arsenal squad that can contribute. Do you know what I mean? They probably just need the right manager, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but like
true.
when you look at sort of like Man United, there's a lot of dead wood in there that, as Ken said at the day, they're just playing because of the fact that the day, I'm playing for Man United. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're not actually contributing anything. Like, you can think of people like McTominay, Maguire. Do you know what I mean?
Anthony,
Johnny Evans,
Martial.
You know, there's some players that are not contributing anything. But when you look at the Arsenal squad, there are players there that are contributing. May not be in the right way, because they might need a better manager. But you can't tell me at the day that people like I'll say, let's pick sort of like Martinelli. Yeah, you can't tell me Martinelli's not a good player. He is a good player. He probably needs to be coached different. Do you know what I mean? Because if Martinelli at the day was in a Liverpool squad under Klopp and everything, he's firing. Trust me, he'd be firing on all cylinders. You know what I mean? So Arsenal have got some good players there. It's just surprising that they're not sort of like you're not getting the end product from them, but they have got some good players.
Well, I think Arteta badly managed it. Like, for example, you just like when you mentioned Saka, I never understood the principle of Arteta knows Saka struggling him on the right when he's put him on the left, where you can keep his right foot in between the defenders instead of having, because we all know his right foot isn't that great. So it's one of those ones that's what defenders are doing now. They're used to that. They're getting him onto his right foot, so they'll know they'll force him either to cut inside and make a mistake, or he'll give the ball away. But Martinelli, like you said about Martinelli, that guy needs to learn to get his head up. That guy doesn't play like me for a winger for me, because he's like, it's like he's used to beating his man and then shooting. But at Arsenal, because he's always on the left hand side, he bursts to the byline, he gets to the byline, and then he doesn't know what to do, because by the time he looks up, it's too late. There's someone on him, or he doesn't know where to pass. But that's,
don't you think that comes down to coaching though? Like if he had a better,
it's team structure. And the thing is with the team structure, particularly at Arsenal, I've been saying this all like for the last couple of weeks, right? Arsenal was sold a dream, and that dream was a Partey Rice midfield. Now, and again, I'll stress this, and I'll stress this: Arsenal on paper have not even played their strongest team this year.
Yeah.
Fact.
Yeah.
That's a balls on nailed fact. Rice, Odegaard, Partey have never played together in a trio in the midfield. You know what I mean? And I think the only time they came close to it, Partey ended up right back. So it was, you know what I mean? Arteta, as a coach, there's certain things I want to do and get his head and bounce it off a table and be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But, but then again, he's got a bigger degree than I have. So, but then again,
a better coach will come into the club, and they will see that and say, right, you know, we'll change things around. That's what I think at the day that Arsenal, when you look at Arsenal, they haven't got bad players. It's just that at the day they're being coached wrong. Do you know what I mean?
And I'm not going. And you can see
they ain't got bad players.
But but you can see what a coach who does know what he's doing early doors down here, with a coach that was quietly gone under his job, built a squad to the way he likes it. And you can see now they're winning trophies and they're looking to elevate themselves. Because realistically, in terms of elevation, right, early doors is lucky here. He's the only one whose team is actually looking up on the up and up, where everyone else is kind of like, you know what I mean? Because let's be honest, like we are all bigger teams in terms of clubs and trophies, but can we honestly say we're on a better trajectory than West Ham are? I don't think so. You know what I mean? Like Arsenal have just gone out of cups. Like Liverpool, like you know what I mean? They got away with one against Fulham last night because I couldn't believe how long.
I'm not having that, fella. Just because of that roping you, pal.
I got a rib uncle a little bit. You know what I mean?
Your Liverpool neighbours, mate. You know what I mean? You probably give them that sugar when they run out and all that, pal.
Their bench, innit? Liverpool's bench won in that game yesterday. Nunez changed the game.
Yeah, they did actually.
But you know what it is, though? Do you know what it is? Saying that now, it's the ability at the day of like saying like, right, you know what, at the day, right? This game at the day is not going our way. What do we do to change it? And we've got many managers at the day that have got that foresight to say, well, look, right, you know what? I need to change it. I need to change it. I need to put on this player. I need to move players around and so forth. Some managers that they will just keep the same formation, even though they lose it, they'll just keep the same formation at the day, right, till the end of the game, and wonder why they lost 1-0 or 2-0. Do you understand what I'm getting at? But it's ability at the day, because like you know, most of the players that we had on the bench yesterday were kids in the day. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, we had a 16-year-old boy on the bench, that we bought from Leicester, right? And then you got Connor Bradley. Got Connor Bradley as right back, you know what I mean, which had a good game. So his ability at the end of the day to sort of like say, change the team around, right? Putting people in different positions to say, right, you know what, at the end of the day, now we can win the game. That's what I'm trying to say. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's abilities and it. So on you might look at it and say, well, you know what, and then they got away with one. But it's just the fact that the day he changed it around in order to get those 2 goals at the day to take us through. Do you know what I'm saying?
Klopp, like Moyes, has been there a few years, and he actually has a structure to how he plays football.
Oh yes.
Unlike Arteta, who looks like he's doing one thing one day and another thing another, and he doesn't. Yeah, he just doesn't look like he knows what he's. And I'm not being funny. One thing that really kills me about Arteta, and I'm sure this bugs everybody who's a fan of football and coaching. Why are you bringing on 2 players in the 88th minute or 87th minute?
Oh God!
What are they going to do in 2.5 minutes? That's something you do. If you're bringing on guys like Trossard and ESR, why not do that in the 55th minute or 60th? Why are you waiting to the 87th? You're disrespecting the players as well. What? Because can you imagine being Trossard and ESR and being, all right, boys, you're going to get 2.5 minutes. Don't be a Disclasia.
Disclasia,
What? What are we supposed to do in a 2.5 minutes plus stoppage? Now, ESR, I will say that Smith Rowe, he tries in those sort of because he's been getting that sort of scraps off Arteta all season. And Trossard, I'm not sure that guy needs to just play on the left where he was good for Brighton, or like, and maybe put Martinelli into the centre and then see if them two can click. Because I do think this combination of the Arsenal are not being utilised. Like Arteta, Arteta's never used Martinelli through the middle, Trossard on the left, and like Saka on the right, or maybe just switch Trossard and like Saka around, but Saka on the left, Trossard on the right. Keep it mixed, Don't be as predictable, because I'm not being funny. I think it's clear that now
It's predictable. That's the problem. I mean, we've been saying this since about last November. Everything is predictable with Arteta.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to have an ability. I said the other night, if you're going to make the change, right, stick Martinelli in the middle. So I'm talking substitution time, right? Stick Martinelli, 16 minutes, stick him in there, put Trossard left, okay? Mix it up a little bit, give him a chance at playing at 9. I think that's the position he would be a good player at.
it's what he was signed for, wasn't he? That's where Unai Emery put him when he first arrived. Didn't he get like 11 goals in his first 15 games?
11 goals in 12 games, I think it is.
That's ridiculous. Why would you not use that?
Well, that's the thing of it's what I said the other night when I did a show. Is it arrogance or is it stupidity?
Both.
Because at the end of the day, the man doesn't seem to respect what he has got. We haven't got the greatest team in the world, but when you keep playing Nketiah damn near 90 minutes, right? And the guy can't score against a bloody barn door. I said as a joke, right? It's a piss take. If I'm strapped against the bloody post to get shot, I want Nketiah and Havertz firing at me.
Oh yeah, firing squad. You want them to be in the firing squad?
They'll miss me all day.
Arsenal, Man United.
Mate, if Nketiah and Havertz were the shooters, Tupac would still be alive.
What about Biggie? What about Biggie as well? Biggie as well.
Yeah, he would have been as well, pal.
I can't believe what I've heard over the last 30 seconds, man. We're going to get done. I've got the FA sniper standing out there. Now half a hip hop's going to come for us. It's mad.
Yeah, but
That's funny. That was funny.
It's actually true with Eddie. Ravi's asked another question. Do we think Eddie will be able to make it long term? Not really.
That's why I highlighted it.
No.
Well, yeah, Jez just answered that question, and that's why I brought the question up. Because he asked it.
You've got to think about it. Is that there's certain Arsenal teams that Eddie would do well in. I'm sure Eddie would do well in a probably a Terry Neal team after 1980 where we weren't that great. But if you're talking about an elite big club trying to win the Premiership and trying to win the Champions League, he's not even a good substitute to come off the bench. No, he's just a flat track bully. It's actually a shame for Eddie that we actually didn't take the cup competition seriously, because that's his competition. We play a few minnows. Eddie will score a hat. He'll look $1 million, and he'll probably get selection. But that's something. You know what I call it. You know how I compare Eddie and Nketiah? I compare Eddie and Nketiah Arsenal to Peter Crouch's England record. Like Peter Crouch, very good. You look at Peter Crouch at England, for the games he played, he probably scored one goal per game, virtually.
He did, actually, yeah.
Quite. But who did Peter Crouch score against? Trinidad. All these rubbish teams.
And he pulled hair to do it.
Yeah, exactly. But Peter, if you look at Peter Crouch, you'll forget that Peter Crouch played for England. You think about, because simple reason is that he's not England level. He was a sort of player that Sven brought in, but Eddie Nketiah is the Peter Crouch, is our very own Peter Crouch in terms of Peter Crouch at England. He'll score goals, but he'll only be against crap teams.
Yeah.
Flat track bully.
Well, didn't he get a hat-trick against Crystal Palace the other day and he stopped scoring?
I
think Eddie hasn't scored in a while now, has he? It's been a while since Eddie scored.
In a minute.
Has he scored since that? No, he scored against PSV in that game. Oh, by the way. But he hasn't scored since then.
All right. So, yeah, he's on form then. Your
Yeah.
defense is in trouble.
Levels,
Oh,
man.
dear.
He's top levels. Seriously.
Okay, can we just agree, right? Tony, you're excluded from this guy. Who gets kudos? Does he go Liverpool, Arsenal, or Chelsea?
Liverpool.
He won't come Arsenal.
Nah.
Saka.
Oh, no, to be honest, actually, we don't need him. We've got Cole Palmer now. When he is finishing, by the way.
He's better than Cole Palmer. He's better than Cole Palmer.
Oh, Uncle,
He is.
you're hurting
He is.
me. You're
He is.
hurting me.
He's a better player than him.
The truth hurts, Wolf. That's all I'm saying. The truth hurts.
Shut up, Tony. No, he's right. He's right. No, kudos. He's balling.
You know who he should go to. It's quite ironic that both him and Anthony were at Ajax, and
Mm.
he looks more of a player than Anthony does.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony costs £89 million.
Yeah.
How's that possible? How's that possible?
Not hype with that. though, innit?
2 words, Kenny. 2 words.
Big club tax.
Murder, madness.
I know.
Well,
He's wet wiping in negotiations.
Anthony, he's got no pace. He's got virtually. He hasn't got no pace. He's got no strength. He's so predictable. Yet you've got Kudos, who's got pace, can run from deep, and he's got a goal threat, a genuine goal threat, and he could be. Yet you spent £89 million, Anthony. What sort of football was he playing at Ajax for Ajax to be able to command that fee, and Man United paid it?
yeah, that's true.
I think the problem with the fee that Anthony had is that Ajax were in the process of selling quite a few of their players, and the time that we could have got Anthony for would have been worth about 30-40 million pounds less by default. Even with that amount of money less,
How much,
I believe that if it was 50-40 million pounds for Anthony, I still would have said, well, that's still overpaying. A good negotiator could probably have signed Anthony for about 30. And you think about how much we pay for him now, it's just like, well, I mean, it's absolute stupidity from our board, because they decided to not buy Anthony until it got to the point where Ajax were like,
Yeah, but
actually,
what you
we're
man's after
prepared to
Gakpo,
sell.
What you man's after Gakpo? He's after Cody Gakpo.
Yeah, they
weren't
were
you?
after Cody Gakpo. Yeah, I heard it was between the two of them, not Kudos,
Yeah.
and they picked Anthony. Because Anthony obviously I think he was a Ten Hag golden boy apparently when he was over there.
You know what? I'm just flummoxed, but you know, there's another player that you know, like, I mean, I'm not too funny about Hot Fuzz, but Jadon Sancho, you should just be glad to get rid of him. He was another boil.
Oh, I am.
The thing about that sort of boil, you know, sort of boil where it was a boil that's full of rotten pus. That's how I feel.
Back
Oh,
to
nice, man. I've got a routine.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but
You ain't now,
Hopefully-
Jez.
I'm sorry, guys, but
Wrong pussy, man.
this has to be said, because you think about it, you're the biggest club in the world, right? And this, you've got to apologise for that. He refuses to apologise to his manager. You've got to virtually apologise for that. You've had Sir Matt Busby, you had Sir Alex Ferguson, you had Dennis Law, George Best and Bobby Charlton, you had Brian Robson, Eric Cantona, and the list goes on. And you've got to apologise for that. The guy who couldn't make it at Man City, came from Watford, couldn't make it at Man City, he had to go to Germany and make his fortune. You've got to apologise to that. And the worst thing about it, you gave that £350,000 a week.
Yeah, but them man's there, right? Them man's was chasing Jadon Sancho for 2 years.
Exactly.
2 years chasing him. And the thing is about it, that when they finally got him, and they put him on 350 bags a week. He came in and a few good games and that was it. But what I'm trying to say, that there's many other players out there they could have got at that time, but they was chasing the man there for like 2 seasons.
The guy's got no pace.
Yeah, man, I'll say to Jay Sander, go make your dough, bro. Go make your dough.
You know the thing is, Rods, right? The thing that makes me laugh about Jadon Sancho is that he's actually got less pace than Anthony. And I don't think that's possible.
It's true.
Well,
I mean,
I'm not being funny.
he's the only person who dribbles in slow motion.
Going backwards. Yeah. The only problem is when Man United try and get rid of Anthony, they're going to have to send him from a police lineup. They're gonna like,
What's he gone on loan then?
because-
Is he
No.
gone on loan?
Well, he's gone on loan to Bin. He's gone on loan to jail, like because that's where it seems a lot. Some of these Man United players are going, man.
Seen Kiss the
Well, no.
Badge? You seen Kiss the Badge when he got
Mm.
there?
Like what?
Dortmund badge.
Like Mendy kissed the Man City badge when he left.
Innit?
Yeah. All right, well,
I've got one more gem for you guys. If I was like Jesse Lingard, I'd be thinking, hang on here, I'm better than these two, and they didn't even give me a chance. They make Jesse Lingard look like Jules Best. At least Jesse Lingard has pace and he's direct.
Yeah.
mhm, yeah,
He's
true.
better than those two. It's
Where's he
true.
now?
though.
Where's Lingard now? Where's Lingard now?
I
He's
don't
out
know.
of contract somewhere.
He's offering himself to Barcelona.
You're joking, in yeah?
No, it's true.
No, he probably has offered himself to Bar, but I don't
It's
think
true.
he'll
Hot
take
fuss,
him.
tell ya. Hot fuss.
Fuzzy, are you in? Oh, no, he's getting spoken to, Uncle. Someone's talking to him. I think it might be Mama Fuzz.
Because when he went Nottingham Forest for a bit.
Yeah,
He's
he
been
was
on
at
the Forest. Then they
and he
released him. Then he come to us. He trained with us for a period of time, and he was hoping to do a deal on that. But fortunate enough, it never materialised. So he went off to Saudi and trained with a team out there. I think with Gerard's team, and again still couldn't make it out there. And then I think he's back over here, and he's just kind of languishing at the moment.
Yeah, basically, Lingard's doing a Wilshire. He's just floating.
Imagine that day, you go to Saudi Arabia and you can't even make it over there. There's no point in you playing football, is there, really?
Not really, because if you're not going
Nah.
to get touched in Saudi Arabia, you're not going to get touched anywhere. To be
Nah,
fair.
you're not, are you, pal?
You say that, Unks. No, you're probably going to be getting Henderson back, aren't you?
Nah,
Get him
yeah,
on
come
loan.
man. You have more chance of you winning the Premier League.
Oh.
We'll see you next season, then. Yeah.
Wait, there we go. We're greasing up for next season already. There you go.
I like
Big
it.
ups to Paul Scholes there. Big ups to Paul Scholes for his comment.
Stop it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can
Absolutely.
start bloody playing football then. Like,
There you go.
what are you doing?
Right. It's been nearly an hour and a half, and it's coming up 20 to 12, so I'm not going to keep everyone too much longer. Tony, do you want to pick up your channel, mate?
Yeah, sure. It's Early Doors Football TV. I am one away now from 150 subs, so I'm getting there.
Wicked.
Early Doors Football TV, on with great people like you see in the panel here, and obviously, as always, mention there great people on the chat that kind of support us all the way along there as well. And I'm here. And as you can see, I've got winners over my shoulder.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
You ain't got the big cup yet, mate. You got the baby cup. We got the big cup.
My cup's bigger than yours.
Yeah, but mine's not got chocolate milk in it. Mine's made of metal
I
and
ain't saying nothing. I'm not saying a word.
gold. Jez is the only one being humble. Uncle Rods?
Yeah, man. Listen, thank you for inviting me on tonight, man. It's been a pleasure, man. Do you know what I mean? And big up each and everybody in the panel: Jay, Kenny, Ken, Tony, and Hot Fuzz. Big up yourselves. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, listen, I want everybody. Listen, I'm not going to mention my channel. I want everybody to go and like and subscribe to Early Doors channel. Yeah, Early Doors Football channel. Get him up to 150 and beyond. Yeah, so I think that's more important than actually subscribing to me. I want you to subscribe to this guy here because he's a brilliant guy. He does great content, and I want him to grow, you know what I mean, as a content creator. So it's not about me, it's about this fella here. He's a fair fella. And listen, everybody go on and like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Get him to 150.
Early doors, you got 100. You're a liar, apparently, Tony. 'cause you
I
got
know.
100.
I've just come through. I'm now on 150.
Nice.
Thank
But
you.
listen,
150.
now it's 200 now. Now it's 200 and 300. That's your target now. 200 and 300. So please, guys, like and subscribe to Early Doors Football channel. Please like and subscribe. Show him the support. He's a great guy. And once again, thank you for having me on the show. Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure, Uncle. Fuzzy?
He's got Mama Fuzzy in the way again. No,
Okay,
he's
all
back.
right
He's
then.
back in the room. He's back.
I don't know.
Fuzzy, do you want to pick up your channel, brother?
Yeah, so Hot Buzz 44. Got myself a Tottenham preview tomorrow, and we're going to be inviting Kudos. Kudos, that's been in and around our chats. He's going to be coming on to give us the Spurs verdict as for this game going into Sunday. as for what happens over Saturday, probably another transfer update. Hopefully, there's some breaking news. Hopefully, Martial's left the club. Hopefully, Mercer's left the club. Hopefully, everyone's left the club. You know, be fantastic. Holding my breath for those days. But thank you very much for having me on. Always fantastic to be on your channel, Warfang Division, as well as having fellow guests with the likes of Jez, Kenny Ken, Tony, and Rods. Always a pleasure to share the screen with everybody. Fantastic content creators in all their own respects. And as well as everybody in the chat, all the regulars in the chat, the guys that I see over in my channel as well. I'm 4 subscribers away from 150, so we're around the same ballpark. So
Someone check that. Someone check that. He probably could be lying. Someone check it.
Not 146 as it is.
Recently,
Recently checked that and refreshed it. But big ups to everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me onto the show. And yeah, all that good stuff.
Jezza?
Yeah, early doors. Big up to you, mate. Your content's brilliant, and Hot Fuzz, Wolfie. You do great stuff, man, and it's a pleasure to be on here with you. I'm doing a show tomorrow night on my channel. It's going to be called "What the Hell's Gone On Wrong at Arsenal." I've invited on various people. I've sent some invites out. Some haven't come back, but if you guys, Kenny, if you're around 7:30 tomorrow night, any of you, welcome. I did send one to you, Uncle Rods. I haven't heard back from you. So
what it is, I've got a show. I had a show at 7 o'clock, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to move it to 11 o'clock, so I will be on there.
Right, bro. Nice.
I will be on there. So just send me the link, and I'll be on there, pal. Definitely. 100%.
Yeah, I haven't set the link up yet, man. But
when you're ready, just send it to me. I'll be on there when you're ready.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Kenny, if you're about, man, that'd be great. But it's going to be first come, first serve. I want to fill the channel up. Me and 9 guests. So it'll be first come, first serve. I'm going to say that. Wolfie, thank you, man, for having me on. And early doors, congrats, man. You're going to get 500 pretty damn quick. That is it.
Appreciate it.
No worries there. Hot Fuzz, Uncle Rods, it's always a pleasure, man. Kenny Ken, always great supporter of mine. And I'm just going to quick punt. I'm very nearly on 5K. So,
wicked.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Well, to be honest, big up to Arsenal, the history, and more. Big up to Jez as well. Please, if you haven't, go and subscribe to him, because he was the very first person to let you see my mug on face talking about football. So, and I was grateful to meet Kenny Ken.
Why do I get blamed all the time? I get blamed by.
I didn't blame you. I just said thank you very much. I just said
I got blamed by TJ. I mean, I don't know.
Well, we all float around you, innit? You're our mother figure.
Don't worry, Jez. I don't blame you for me appearing on the screen. I blame Yeti for that.
Yes.
Yeti's fault.
Yeah.
Yeti's fault.
He blames me, so that means if Yeti blames me, you're blaming me. So, cheers.
So,
Well, I also
so
blame
indirectly, we're all
Stefan as
blaming
well.
Jez then. I'm not sure if he should be happy or sad.
No.
It all comes full circle. Yeah.
Just go and blame Lee. Go and blame Lee.
Let's all blame.
Can I
Blame
just say,
me
on a
for-
personal note, I was so glad to see Lee off the football terrace. Can I just say, I think that's one of the smartest things he's ever did, because Terry has leached off that man way too long.
Yeah.
And I'm not being funny. The treat.
Lee Gunner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
just look at the second or third to last show that he was on there. Yeah. How Terry let his moderators do what they did, and they were proper having a go at Lee.
Listen.
man.
Can I just say something? Yeah.
Yeah.
Terry's like that. He's sneaky. He's very sneaky. What he'd do, it will set something up at the end of the day where like one person will be having a go at the next person, and Terry's in the middle just laughing at what's going on. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
So he's very
where-
sneaky, and I was very surprised that Lee was with him so long. Very surprised.
Well, I don't know Lee to have spoke to him, but all I can say is a human being, and like when someone's talking about your family in a big channel like that, and they're not even moderating it, you're a disgrace, man. Sort yourself out. You're a grown man. And what pisses me off is he's from the same area I am. I know if the boot was on the other foot and someone was going at Terry's family, he'd want to So I don't like hypocrisy. It stinks. It really does. Uncle Kenny Ken, can you big yourself up, please, sir?
First and foremost, I second what you say because I think Lee's helped Terry out a lot, and Terry's got a Pacific audience of people, and he's very. You can tell the guests he has on are very Pacific as well. But I say it once, say it 1,000 times. It's they've both helped each other, but it's time for them to go their separate ways. Terry can't complain. He's earned a lot of his show has got a lot of sponsorship, a lot of money out of with Lee, so you can't knock it. But in terms of everyone, I had a great time with you, Wolfie. Thanks for having me on. Jez, it's brilliant. I love to come tomorrow, but I've got to check my daughter because she wants me to watch the latest Harbin Cobin's program. And I promised that I'm going to watch it. So definitely on like next week. Obviously, we've got Crystal Palace preview. Hot Fuzz. As I said before, I don't like Man United, but I think that the Premiership's a better place when we have strong Man United. And I've said that to you before. Like I said, great to see you as well. I know you're smiling from ear to ear, but I just want to say one thing, right? Every Liverpool pundit says Liverpool are probably light years away from challenging, yet Klopp's got to tune out his players. Yeah, and they've had injuries. No, I don't hear any excuses to Liverpool, but I only hear them at Arsenal. Early doors, what I always say to you when we're on a show together before I say good luck with everything you're doing. Say hello to Terry for me until Terry to come out.
Man. Yeah, I know, man. I've got to do that. Ken,
don't forget, mate, next Wednesday we are doing our worst
Arsenal player compilation. Yes,
ever.
Compilation.
It's Santos at left back.
I'll see if I can try and get Terry out for you, Ken, anyway, and that. But if you're not doing anything Sunday night, we have the Sunday night football show. You're quite welcome to come and do that as well.
Oh, where's Ryan?
Well, hang on it. When we play West Ham,
couple of weeks time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not far off.
We play West Ham on the 10th of February.
Yeah. Looking forward to that.
Well, I don't want to sort of sound pushy. I'm assuming that me and Jez will be on your West Ham Arsenal preview then.
It's a guarantee, Ken. You know that.
Thank you. That's all I need to hear.
Guarantee. It's a guarantee. You know that.
I was just going to say, early doors. I'm just going to say, fucking forgot what I was going to say now. I was going to say, mate, well done. I streamed your show on my channel, man. Yeah, 1,800 views. Big up to you. Well done.
Well, man. Thank you, mate.
Kenny, is it all right if I put your Instagram in the chat?
Please.
Yeah, you can do that. Not a problem. Yeah, anyone's, just advertise us, all of us, isn't it? All of us, Wolfie.
Yes, please.
Yeah, there you go. It's in the chat. I don't know why it's come up a bit weird, but yeah, if you want to get into Kenny Ken's Instagram, please be respectful when you message him because even I'm defensive of this guy because he was the guy that gave me the nickname Wolfie, believe it or not, Uncle Kenny. So yeah, he did. Did you or did you not?
I gave you the nickname Wolfie. I did.
And it seems to have stuck with everybody.
Hey, mate,
but the funny thing is, Si, Mama Flossie said it's Kenny Ken's fault, and for me, it is kind of thing because I remember Ken being on with Claude, Terry, and Diesel, this kind of thing. So seeing Kenny for the first time on that channel and the influence and the knowledge this man's got, yeah, you was an inspiration for me, Ken. Put it that way.
That's all right, mate. We need more people doing YouTube who are in football for genuine reasons to put their clubs first. It's not easy to do, and sometimes you do. If you are getting all these offers and everything, you've got to take these offers because the end of the day, 9 out of 10 times we're not happy in our jobs. We all got a Walter Mitty side to us. We all want to be that centre forward. We all want to be that doctor that saves, that conducts a life-saving operation. We all want to be, the film star that gets all the girls. We all want it subconsciously, but some of us work in boring jobs. So I respect it to a certain extent, but you've got to remember you do lose something as a fan if you're doing all of that. That's what, you know what I mean?
Well, that's
one thing. I'll say one thing before I go. I mean, the first time I saw you, Ken, was on Jez's channel. It was many months ago. And I remember it was a beautiful story you said about how you got into being Arsenal sport. You said your mum used to take you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. She pregnant when we used to go.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, you know, when I heard that, I thought that's such a beautiful story because like you never see that. I mean, all right, listen, you never see that in the Caribbean community.
Big up Motology.
You never really see that. Do you know what I mean? The mum taking the boy to like football
Always the
match.
dad, isn't it? Always the
You
father.
know what I mean? You know, sometimes not even a dad. Do you know? Sometimes not even a dad. I'll be straight with you. Sometimes not.
Yeah,
even
yeah,
a dad.
yeah, yeah.
You know, what I mean? I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's very rare. Do you know what I mean? But for like, the mum to be taking sort of like, you know what I mean, the son and the day to football matches because that was our passion, Arsenal Football Club. Mate, it's a beautiful story. Beautiful
Well,
story, mate.
she's not with me anymore, but I lost her about 2.5 years ago. But she's a bigger Arsenal fan than me.
Mm.
You know, I still talk to her out in the Preds Tech, but she used to phone me at half time when I was at games and ask me what's going on.
Yeah,
We
I
losing.
love it.
You know
Big
what I
up
mean?
Auntie Ken, mate. Big up Auntie
Yeah.
Ken.
But she, you
What's
know,
up,
she's
man? What's up? You want to know? Well, you want to know the score,
No,
mum?
seriously, she used to phone me at half time and say, "What's going on? What's wrong?"
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful stories. And I'll tell you what, maybe from my own personal point of view, at some time in the future, I need to get Kenny Ken and Jez on individually to tell their respective stories. I know they've said it a lot on Arsenal channels, but I think even Chelsea fans could learn from these two. I think Chelsea fans could learn from everyone on this panel, to be honest. But you know what I mean? Because let's be honest, in our own ways, each one of our fan bases in their own respects are what Lee would say is tapped. So yeah. But yes, on that note, if you haven't, please like and subscribe to Uncle's Insta, everyone else's YouTube channels. I'd like to thank Early Doors, Uncle Roz, Hot Fuzz, Kenny Ken, and Jez of the Arsenal History and more. Thank you, everyone, for coming on tonight. It's been an absolute privilege and it's been a blast of a show. Big up Motology, Ravi for his questions in the chat, keeping it real, Chelsea, DJ Crane, Mama Flossie, obviously of Hot Fuzz and like them not been in the chat earlier, but as the assembled, I think even here today was there a little while ago. Stephanie as well. Big up everyone for popping in. I appreciate it. Lots of love to you all. Please stay safe. Oh, there she is. Hello, Steph. Yeah. Thank you. Take care, man. And obviously take care, Mama Flossie. Everyone, stay safe, and we are out of here. Take care, everybody, and good night.